We will talk about functions, little more about functions actually. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, write it in the comment box. If you have understood, still write it in the comment box. Not understood, still write it in the comment box. So here I can say day 27. And we have talked about function. So let me create a new file. Function basic 6, new file. Function basics 06.js. Now consider that I have function, this function, or just to break your mental barrier, I will write a function in the arrow form, const, and here I can say fn is equals to, const fn is equals to add new, const fn or const add new is equals to like this. Do you have any questions on this? This is clear, right? I'm not getting your voice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is clear, right?
Yes.
So add new, this and this. You can say this is a function. So for your understanding, I will write a same function add new 1. Let's name it as add new 1, add new 2. So whatever I have written, so this much function is equals to this much function. So this much function is equals to this much function. Also we have seen if function is a one liner, only one line is there in the function, right? And it is returning, you don't need these brackets also, correct? Okay, so this function and this function is same. Now what I need to do, num1 num2 over here, and I need to return. So first I will write here also num1 and num2, two parameters, and return num1 plus num2, correct?
Yes.
Num1 plus
Number.
num2. Same thing I will write over here in a one liner way, num1 plus num2. So this function is exactly equals to this function.
Yes.
Let me start recording. Is on or yeah, it's on. So you can remind me for turning on the recording as well.
Yes.
So this one, this function and this function, one and same. But sometimes what happens, so here if you can see, add new 1 or new 2, whatever you can call, it is returning. So I can write console.log add new 1, and here I can pass 10 and 10. Let us see the output. You may use a separate terminal, external terminal, but everything I need to keep in front of one screen. That's why I'm using this one. Okay, or you can use this one also, one and same. It is an integrated terminal, and that one is an external terminal. So here we can say node function 6 and something like this 20. Okay, but what if you don't pass? I will copy this and this. What if you don't pass this 10? What will happen? What if you don't pass this 10? What will happen? Can you tell me the answer? Here are the function is accepting two parameters, but from here you are passing only one. So what will happen? What would be the output? Such questions would be asked in the interview.
Null.
Null? Answer would be null or what?
Null.
Nan. Okay, not a number. See now. Can you see? You're correct. Answer is what? Nan. Okay, so here we will write console.log and let us see what happens. So this is the num1 or num2, right? We cannot identify that, right?
Yes.
So let's write num1 dollar num1. What is this dollar? Num2 dollar num2. So we will now get to know what exactly we are passing, the first parameter or what? Second parameter. Correct?
Yes.
So let us see. So if you see num1 is 10 and num2 becomes undefined. Num1 becomes 10
T.
and num2 becomes undefined. Getting my point? Num1 becomes 10, num2 becomes undefined. And that's why you are getting answer as not a number.
Yes.
So how to solve this problem? Either you need to write the if condition over here. You need to check if num1 and if num1 is there, right? If num1 is there. So basically you need to check something like this, right? If num1 is there, presently you don't know what is the if and else and the operators, but you will write code something like this. If num1 and num2 means both the things are available. If both the things are available means both the things are true. Remember that any non-zero value,
Yes.
any non-zero value will make this guy true, right? Else you need to check if, else inside if not num1. Not num1 means what? Num1 is undefined and not of and undefined is false, right? We have seen the falsy values.
Yes.
In the falsy values we have seen undefined is false. So negation of the false is what? True. So here checking if not num1. If not num1, then we need to set num1 is equals to 0.
Yes.
Similarly, if not num2,
Num.
then we need to set num2 is equals to, then we can say if num2 is equals to 0. Or simply we can write something like this: if num1 or num2 or operator, and means what? Both should be true. If any one of them is not available, return 0. Correct? Anyone, if num1 is undefined or num2 is undefined. If num1 is undefined or num2 is undefined, technically answer is what? Nan. Right? So instead of that, please return the 0. Now see, can you now answer is 0. Why it is coming 0? It is coming 0 because we have, because of this condition. Do you understand this much code or not? So first here you should check this true, this should be true, and num2 should be true. Then and only then addition will happen. Otherwise, if this is false, num1 is undefined and num2 is undefined, so this negation will make them true, right? Negation will make them true. Then you should directly return 0. So you need to write this much line of code just to avoid the nan. There are multiple ways. So there is one problem also. If you pass 10 and 0, still you will get answer as 0, right? See now, 10 and 0, answer would be again 0. Why? 0 is a falsy number. So num1 becomes 10, num2 becomes 0. So here num1 and 0. 0 is nothing but what?
False.
False number. So this is true and this is false. So it will not go inside this loop, this if condition, but it will go inside this else, right? Do you understand this or not?
Yes.
So num1 is 0 or undefined, 0 or undefined, return 0. And that's why 10 plus 0 you are getting what? 0. That is wrong. We need to write code for that also. To avoid all these things, see here, JavaScript has given something called as default parameters. If you pass the value, if you pass the value, then that value would be considered, whatever value you have passed. If you don't pass the value, 0 would be automatically considered. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So here I can say add new to default parameters. Can you see? In the parameters only you have given the value. This is a JavaScript syntax. In the parameters itself, you have given the value, which means that you have passed 10 to num1. So instead of 0, 10 would be there. If you don't pass anything to the num2, by default 0 would be considered. This thing is called as default values. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
Or any questions?
Only when parameters given number.
Only when what? Yeah, anything. This can be string also. So default values, what do you mean by default values? Can you see here you have passed 10. You have passed what? 10. So num1 becomes 10. So 0 would be replaced by 10. And then you didn't pass any value for num2. You didn't pass any value to the num2. So which value would be considered? Default value would be considered. Is it clear? Or
Yes, sir.
any questions over there?
No, sir.
Default values. Remember that important topic. Now, I will end this recording here because it ends the function.
Yes, sir.
Let me check if anything is missing. Let me check in the syllabus. So a lot of things related to the functions we have seen.
Yes, sir.
Parameters, arguments, anonymous functions we have seen. Okay, there are some advanced topics. I will come back to that topics in the functions little bit later on. Okay,
Yes, sir.
but this is enough as far as basics of the functions are required. There are a lot of things we will see time to time. Okay, so let me end this video here itself.